Okay, before I begin, sometimes I'ma cuss in my videos. Sometimes I won't. If you're a kid who has parents who don't like cussing, either don't tell them you're watching this video or don't watch the video. You can do what you want, I don't really care. I'ma still paint and I'm still gonna like it. So, I got a shitload of sketchbooks just filled with stuff. And I've noticed that like my style in drawing and my style in painting differ immensely. And one could, I mean, at least in my opinion, my style with drawing is a little more developed than my style in painting. And I definitely want to develop my unique style with painting, but I want to also be able to translate my style with drawing into painting so that I can just switch and still retain the same kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's what this piece is beginning. This is the start of a series that I am going to call Rosetta. It's named after a stele found in Egypt. It revolutionized the study of Egyptian hieroglyphics. So I thought that was a fitting name. I hope that's not like, I don't know. I always like kind of second guess what I call things. I don't really think of the name until after I make it usually. You can see I'm using a technique that I got from a little bit from Gerard Richter, like kind of just a tad. I did a study on him a little while back, and that was fun. I'm still using some of the techniques that I got from him. One of the really cool things about him is that he made this tool out of plexiglass and I think wood. Yeah, wood and plexiglass, and he would just take just these massive things of oil paint, like these drums of oil paint, and just drag the thing, like the plexiglass thing, across the canvas, and that was cool. Like just seeing that process, that was really cool. The finished product would just be amazing. It would be like layers upon scraped off layers, added on layers, reapplied layers. It would. I could go on a tangent for that for a little bit, but for the purpose of this time in video, that's not really the. I'm just gonna keep talking about the painting. So you saw in the beginning of this project that I was a little bit more gentle with the application, with the brush and the paint, and then I got a little bit more sloppy. It's kind of chaotic, if you will. I think I scraped a little bit too much with that rubber tool. Probably won't do that as much next time. I started to get a little purposely sloppy with the piece because I noticed when I was being a lot more careful in the beginning that I could plainly, clearly see the black lines of the pen under the paint, and I knew deep down that would take just that would take so many layers, and I really wasn't about that. I wanted to just get it done and see how this first attempt went at this series. And I mean, if you go into like a project like this where you're experimenting and you're trying to learn something on your own, you should never expect perfection on the first try. If you do, that's your first mistake. The first lesson is realizing that perfection is never going to come on the first try, and it probably never will come through. I mean, it's never going to pull up at your front door and be like, "Yo, perfection, you got it. Here I am." No, and you got to remember the paint has a mind of its own. Every single glob of paint that you squeeze out of your tube, it's got a little brain. And that paint glob is thinking to itself, hey man, I'm totally okay with you putting me on your panel, canvas, whatever surface. Like that's cool. I hope you I hope you have fun. But if you try to control my life, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. And that's just how it is. Anyway, back to business. So pretty soon you're gonna see me like using that rubber scraper thing to do some scraping, and that was a mistake. I didn't like that. I didn't like how the dark and light colors blended, but it goes back to that lesson I mentioned earlier. Whatever. A little bit after this, kind of adding these light colors, I started adding these darker colors like burnt sienna, burnt umber, and that was to kind of not have all the light colors get all the glory. You want to have this nice, smooth, or maybe rough, but you want to have a nice aesthetic motion of dark just kind of streaking through this. It's more brighter colors of reds and oranges and yellows. Otherwise, it looks like too much. It just looks like in your face. You know what I mean? Anyways, we're approaching the end of this. And we'll call it a journey. It's not really a journey. It's more like a walk in the park. It was only about like 5-6 minutes. But thanks for watching. I hope you all are safe and healthy during this strange and unprecedented quarantine time. We all have to keep our wits about us. If we come out of our holes insane, that's not a good look for all the aliens that are watching us. So yeah, keep your wits. See ya.